Welcome to today's deep dive. Today we've got something that might fundamentally flip how you think about learning.
Yeah, we're looking at a translated chapter on the teachings of the mystic Allama Prabhu.
Right. And the core mission today is to unpack this profound difference between um, merely reading about spiritual truth and actually experiencing it.
Because normally, when we want to learn something, what do? We accumulate, we read more books, listen to more audio, take more notes.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah,
Because guilty is charged, and we just stack up information and call it knowledge.
exactly. But the text calls this accumulation a trap of the intellectual ego. It describes scholars who spend literal lifetimes arguing over Sanskrit grammar, coming up with like 100 different meanings for a single verse.
And in the middle of all that intense debating, they entirely miss the actual realization. There's an amazing analogy in the text for this.
Oh, the food one.
Yes, it points out that just chanting the word food over and over is never going to cure your hunger. You actually have to sit down and eat a meal.
It's such a perfectly grounding image. Giving 1,000 speeches about the divine or memorizing ancient texts is just intellectual entertainment. It isn't soul realization.
Which leads to his incredibly radical take on those ancient texts. He doesn't just suggest they're incomplete.
What's fascinating here is he absolutely dismantles them. He calls the Vedas, these foundational, deeply revered texts, mere hypocrisy.
Wow.
Yeah. He dismisses the Shastras as a useless game and the Puranas as useless struggles of our ancestors.
Imagine dropping that take at a theology convention.
It's a total mic drop. But his point is that to find actual truth, you have to adopt the practice of neti, meaning not this, not this. You have to completely refuse to be a slave to written evidence.
Which brings up the sugar analogy.
Right, if you believe a sacred text blindly just because it's written.
That's like believing sugar is sweet without ever putting it on your tongue.
You need the direct experience. The blind faith actually gets in the way of the real taste.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. If we're throwing out the books, what is left? How do you actually experience this truth?
The text lays out a progression, but it's not about building a new philosophy. It's about dissolving, shedding layers instead of adding them.
So step by step, it starts with the physical word.
Right. You don't hold on to the meaning of the word. You let it dissolve just into its sound.
So the word loses its intellectual baggage. It's just a pure vibration.
Precisely. Then that sound dissolves into pure focus. You aren't listening to a word anymore. You are just in a state of attention.
Okay, I'm tracking. So word to sound, sound to focus. Then what?
Then focus dissolves into your own consciousness. You become aware of your awareness. And from there, the text says that consciousness dissolves into thoughtlessness.
Which honestly sounds terrifying to anyone who spends all day overthinking.
Oh, absolutely. But that thoughtlessness is the final threshold. From there, everything fades into a formless void of absolute peace.
That is a wild journey. From intensely debating a specific grammatical rule in a text, all the way down to a formless, silent void.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the ultimate goal of all this material isn't to hand you, the listener, yet another philosophy to memorize. It's to help unburden you from the incorrect accumulated information you've gathered.
Which is delightfully ironic, considering we are actively talking to you on a deep dive, technically adding to your mental accumulation right now.
We are completely guilty of playing the useless game today, but both of us here and you listening, we're all just seekers trying to figure this out together, working toward experiencing the truth rather than endlessly talking about it.
Speaking of endlessly talking about it, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over on your own today. If reaching the ultimate truth requires completely dissolving all words, thoughts, and concepts into a formless, silent void, does the very act of actively trying to learn about enlightenment through books and podcasts actually trap us further in the illusion?